It's Montreal, Canada's own. It's your boy Sid, back, really back, bringing you a whole bunch of hot new content. Welcome to Speak Your Mind all the time. And without further ado, let me drop in my guy. There's no introduction that's needed for this guy. No introduction at all.
Yo, what's up, my guy, man? I don't know if I can follow up with that Lord of the Rings introduction you got, man. I felt yeah, so what's going on, my guy, man? Glad to have you back, bro.
Yeah, man, 100% feel good being back, man. Thank you once again for coming on the show, Jay. Before we even go deep into this and we start discussing what's been going, I want to thank you, man, because you've always been one of those guys that no matter what is going on in my crazy life, whether when I left, came back, no matter what, you've always been a huge, huge support system. And we've never even met face to face, man. And
Right.
I feel like you're family to me, man. Like I've always been able to reach out to you and just talk, and no matter what it was, you were always like checking up on me, and I want to thank you for always being that huge, huge support system, man.
Yeah, man, I deeply appreciate it, and likewise, man. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand when we start doing this content or whatever you call it that we're doing, man. It's the friendships. That's the thing that means the most to me, to be honest with you. I know that if Sid was to stop making content today and delete his channel, I'm still going to reach out to Sid and say, "Yo, when you come to Dallas, right?" And the same, right? And that's with other people, with Rome and Law and DMV. Like,
Mm.
it's more about the relationships, man. And no matter as much as high as I grow, I'll never forget the people who was there from day one. And Sid was literally there from day one. So I said that, on a show I did the other day, right? I remember doing these live shows and the only three people watching was my kids. You know what I'm saying? They were upstairs, like just trying to make sure the channel worked, right? So it was my kids in the comments, like, "Hey dad," you know what I'm saying? But then there was one time where someone reached out to me and it was just like I got a comment like, "Yo, I love your show. I want to work with you." And that was just like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And it was Sid, man. And Sid's responsible for a lot of the relationships, right? I met Star Gang through Sid. I met West Coast through Sid. I met Rome through Sid. I met like a lot of people through Sid, right? So just partnering with you, bro. So like I said, I'll never forget the people who was there from day one, and Sid was there from day one. Whether he leaves, comes back, whether it's the only show he does, man, you're always gonna be my brother, man. And yeah, we gonna sit here and complain. I remember when we did the live show after the watermelon kick, man, when we beat the Atlanta Falcons, going through that pandemic season, we beat the watermelon kick, and so it's like good times, man. So it really takes me back to when things were fun, man. So appreciate you, my guy.
Nah, man, appreciate you too. And big shout out to BJ Nix and Rome and all those guys, man. Cowboys fan 1980, who's gonna be on my show this Friday. Uh, like these are all pioneer guys that I remember we used to do 3 hour shows. Remember we
And that's what people don't understand. And I was trying to explain it, even today, right? Because a lot of new content creators, because it's big, see, like you come into the game, you're like, who the hell are these people?
yeah, yeah.
But they've seen the growth that a lot of us has done, and they think it just happened overnight. But they don't understand the work and the sacrifice it took behind the scenes. The 3 hour shows, the 4 hour shows, when we were doing shows back to back to back. I got two shows after this one, so they don't see that part. They see all the glitz and the glam and the players talking to us and interacting with us and going to Cowboys game. But there was a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of frustrations, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of late nights
Yeah.
that took place in order for you to see what we're seeing today, man. So you was definitely there, man, with us, man. Those late nights is talking for, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, man. But we were trying to just build our brand and build our knowledge when it comes to covering the Dallas Cowboys. We didn't know what we was doing. I never thought I was going to get this far, Sid. This is not what I imagined when we started back in 2020. But now look, you know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. Honestly, it's been a journey for all of us, and congratulations to you, man. Like I remember when I first reached out to you, I think you had like 200 followers.
Yeah,
You know
that's,
what I
that's,
mean?
that's what people don't understand. Like
Yeah,
I had 150 like on Twitter, I had like 160 on YouTube. So like I said, when Sid was there from the beginning, now on Twitter, bro, it's 40,000. Like
yeah,
I can't even tweet in peace anymore. So it's kind of crazy. But like, yeah, a lot of people who was there from day one has seen my growth and they're still rocking with me today, man. So I'm definitely appreciative of it.
yeah, man, 100%. And like I said, congratulations to you. You've grinded out. You've always been that pioneer, and no matter what, you still want to. It takes what people don't get, and I think you brought this up, is that how much YouTube takes over your life at
Mhm.
the point. That's why at one point I had to step away because it was starting to interfere with my personal life.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And it's hard, and I know when you're going through that situation, man, I was like, listen, family first. And that's for anybody. Family is always going to come first. And it does kind of take over you, right? Because you kind of feel the obligation to your followers and your fan base. Like me, honestly, like I haven't taken a break. See, like I still like
oh,
from
I
the
know.
Green Bay game, I'm still going. And I always tell myself I'm gonna take a break, but then it's like I know that people lean on me for draft coverage and they lean on me for all season. Like I never want to take that for granted. So you can continuously just go, like it's crazy. Like when I went over to Dubai and went over to the Maldives, like I was live streaming, talking to Cowboys fans, what I'm saying? Like I'm on the other side of the world talking, so it's like it's one of those things, but like I said, it's not really about the content or the glory that comes with it. It's the people, the relationships, the fan
Yeah.
base that you meet. That's what
Yep.
keeps me going. Cowboys Nation, that's my motivation. That's my passion, man. So to my guy, JC Cowboys Network, man. He's another one coming up in the game. He's killing it right now. So I'm trying to retire, Sid. I'm trying to retire and move on to greener pastures, man. So I need the
Yo,
class to come behind me to come and take over, man. JC's one
yo,
of those.
that no, that ain't happening. I just got back into the game. You
You
can't
can
leave right
retire.
now, man.
Like Sid's back. All right, I'm out, man. You got the good. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, man. So listen, let's we've covered all that, and you said a big thing: fans and the people that come onto our channels and support. That's a huge thing. Like I said, I lost like 100 followers in the minute I posted yesterday. I think I already got like 50 new followers within like from yesterday to today. So I just want to thank everybody who's already clicking that subscribe button and seeing that I'm making a comeback, and I appreciate you guys
Thanks,
totally.
man. Definitely give my guy
So
a follow, man.
yeah. So with that being said, we have a lot to cover.
Yeah.
This Dallas Cowboys front office, to me, has lost their minds. And I watched one of your shows the other day, and I said, "Oh my God, he's so right." The Dallas Cowboys going into this season look like a base team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we look like a mediocre team. Like we're just I see it right now. Right now, my opinion, and this is my opinion only. Guys, I've always said that this is speak your mind all the time. This is my opinion only. I don't even see us making playoffs. I'm keeping it real, y'all.
I
With what
mean,
we have, let's who we you see how many people we let go in Dallas.
mm-hmm. It's
We
it's it's not the let go, Sid. It's the let go and the not replenishing, right? So I don't want to say we're not going to make the playoffs till post draft. Give me a week and I'll come back and say, all right, y'all, let's start a book club. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I think that's the frustrating part because even as bad as that Green Bay loss was there, when
oh man.
it was bad. I was there, you know what I'm saying? Like it hurt. But I felt like roster wise, we had the talent to compete. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a bad day at the office. We got caught slacking. Green
Yep.
Bay, they just beat our jaws in, right? So I felt like if you say winning a Super Bowl, what's up, 19A? What's going on with you, my guy? If winning a Super Bowl and having a Super Bowl roster was a 10,
Mm,
I felt like we were like at a 7.5, like a 7.5, absent Trayvon Diggs. If Trayvon Diggs would have played, would have probably been like an 8.5,
mm,
right?
mm-hmm.
But then now it's like I'm feeling we're a 5, Sid, a 5.5. And I'm just trying to get back to that 7.5 we were last year. And I tell Cowboys fans this. If you really want to feel the impact, because Sid probably won't tell y'all that we have these back and forths. If you really want to feel the impact of how this roster looks, go play Madden with this current roster.
Oh.
It's rough. You know what I'm saying? It's rough, man. I ain't got no Tony Pollard. Like, I ain't got no run stoppers. I ain't got no linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, I don't have my other wide receiver and Michael Gallup to go and throw the ag, the ad catch. Like, I'm just bleeding out when it comes to this roster. So
Mm,
it puts us in a bad situation because we didn't go into free agency and was actually showed a sense of urgency. So now
yeah.
it's like we're going to the grocery store hungry, and that's the NFL draft. So when you go to the grocery store hungry, you do fitness stuff, or you used to be grabbing stuff. You don't know why you grab it, but I want some Cheez-Its and some cheese dip. Like you just, what I'm saying, you're just grabbing random stuff. And I feel like that's where the Cowboys are right now. We have so many holes in our roster you might just have to just be grabbing stuff just to grab it because you're trying to fill the void of what we lost in this offseason. And that's not even including our defensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's that was a hard loss. Tyron Smith, big loss.
Mhm.
Tyler I mean, we could go down the list of how
Mhm.
many players that signed to other teams, and we signed Kendricks.
One. And that was
One.
by accident because he was signed with the 49ers and he pulled him back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
One.
if we can count it, salute to Coach Zimmer. Coach Zimmer haven't even unpacked yet. He had to go and step in and at least get us a linebacker back. So yeah, one outside acquisition. It's bad. And I think what hurts Cowboys fans the most is when you look at guys like a Tyron Smith or even a Jonathan Hankins, like what
Yeah.
they've actually went to these opposing teams for contract wise, it's like, bro, we couldn't do that. We lost Jonathan Hankins, our big run stopping defensive tackle, for the difference of $500,000. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm saying, like, we're just penny pinching at this point. But
Yes, we are.
we talk about it here soon. Stephen Jones talks about the Dak contract and the Michael
Yep.
contract and so he can kind of just blame it, and a lot of Cowboys fans eat that up. But to be honest with you, Sid, we're getting a lot of smarter. We're a lot smarter. We know that's not how things work. We know that you can thin out the contract. We know that you can, spread things out. You can restructure. You can do all these different things to create cap
Mhm.
space if you want to.
And right now, are the Dallas Cowboys making the moves to be able to do that?
No, and like you said, I know you mentioned like not making the playoffs. I don't care about making the playoffs. I'm trying to build a Super Bowl contender. It's like that.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
problem. It's like, so even if we have a decent draft, okay, decent draft, and then we sprinkle in a few extra veteran guys, is that enough for me to go to New Orleans and beat Kansas City or beat the Baltimore Ravens or run through the San Francisco 49ers and the Eagles and the Detroit
Nope.
Lions and the Packers? Like, I don't feel like we have that type of team. Now, granted, Super Bowls aren't win in April, but the rosters do make a difference. Like, the roster does make a difference. How did the 49ers go to the Super Bowl? It wasn't because they penny pinch. They went out there and was aggressive. They got Christian McCaffrey. Like,
Yep.
they filled out talent around Brock Purdy, where Brock Purdy doesn't have to do much. And a lot of people say, well, Dak Prescott had plenty of talent. Yeah, but that was last year. I'm talking about this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you strip away his left tackle, you strip away his running back, you strip away his X wide receiver, and then defensively, you have a new defensive coordinator. You're missing two defensive tackles. Mozzie Smith is having a shoulder surgery.
Yep.
Might be out 4 to 6 weeks. You lose Leighton Vander Esch. You have Overshown coming off of ACL. Damone Clark can't read and react. You might lose some safeties and veteran leaders and Jaron Kurt. Like, so you're losing that. You might lose Stephon Gilmore. So it's like, okay, so where's the replenishing? And I think that's where Cowboys fans are really concerned when ultimately they should be.
Well, yeah, we definitely got I was speaking to a few people, here in Canada, and some guys are like, yeah, but we're gonna go get people in the draft. I'm like, okay, who? We're 24th pick. Are we gonna get cream of crop at 24th pick? Yeah, we'll go out and get a few guys here and there. But are we gonna be getting dogs? Those guys that are gonna come out here and make a difference. A lot of these guys are rookies. They can't come. There's a few guys that can step onto the field the first day and make a difference.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
and it's a huge ask, right? Because think about this: if you go back to when we moved on from Mari Cooper, it was so unfair, Sid, to ask Jalen Tolbert from South Alabama that, okay, you got to replace Mari Cooper in your rookie season. Like, bro, what? What I'm saying? Like, hold on,
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, we can draft the left tackle, whether it's a Jordan Morgan or Troy Fatanu or Kingsley Samadia. Okay, cool. Now go replace Hall of Fame left tackle and Tyron Smith. You got it, kid. Like, so like, you got to hit the ground running. But also, here's the bad part about going in with that philosophy: the draft board doesn't give a damn about what your plans are, because people can snatch and pull, and the draft can just not go in your favor. You can go into the draft with the perfect plan. Oh yeah, this is our guy. He's at the top of our board, and if we get him, we're going to be able to execute. And then nope, the Buffalo Bills just jumped you and take your tight end, or the Raiders just jumped you and take your safety, and now you're reaching a little bit. So it's a very bad philosophy to go in to hope that some college kids and some rookies, if you get two starters out of your draft class, consider yourself lucky. But we're needing 3, maybe 4. And we saw how last year's draft class, it was pretty much nobody hit, so it's like you can have those situations, but leaning your cap on, oh, it's fine. We'll just draft guys and we'll be perfectly fine. it's a huge dice roll, and for us Cowboys fans, we actually deserve more. What I'm saying, Sid, is when you look at the Green Bay loss, who actually paid the price, and what did the Cowboys do to show what happened versus Green Bay was not acceptable?
No.
They
You know
moved
what?
on from Dan Quinn. They didn't fire him. They moved on from him because he
Yep.
chose to leave. He chose to leave. If Dan Quinn decided, no way, I want to stay, he would have been welcomed back with open arms. So that's the frustrating part for a lot of Cowboys fans. It's just like no one paid the price, and here we are.
You know what was hard about that Green Bay, and guys, please, I'm probably gonna get hate mail after I say this. I remember that day, and I spoke to a few people before, and I said we're losing that game.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
you know what? Because that team was hungry. Dallas went into that game, and we were too relaxed. And guess what? By the time we realized, oh snap, we got to wake up, we were playing against each other.
yeah, well, that's when I needed you the most, Sid, because your boy's out there fighting that battle by himself. Like, listen, this is a tough matchup that we're going
Yeah.
into. Like, oh, Green Bay's young. Who have they beat? Who have they?
Yep.
I'm just like, listen, y'all.
Yeah.
And,
Listen.
and
Yep.
honestly, like I said, I slept on Green Bay because, of course, I don't watch teams that deep when it's Cowboys season. But once I started scouting them, I was like, oh damn, their quarterback's
Yep.
competent. They have a run game. They have fast wide receivers. He gets the ball out quick. He can throw off
Yep.
his back foot. He can throw off platform. And they run a lot of zone and they learn a lot of pre-snap motion. And they're really like the 49ers version of at Aldi's. I'm like, uh-oh, we have a problem. So what I was trying to warn Cowboys fans, I just did a video on it because we had an interview with Wanye Thomas. And Wanye Thomas was like, bro, everything we threw at them defensively, they had to answer for. Like everything we tried, like everything they had
Yep.
to answer for. And I asked him did he know why that was? And he was like, honestly, no. And I had to explain, right? Matt LaFleur was the quarterback coach for the Atlanta Falcons under Dan Quinn. You know, Kyle Shanahan, offensive coordinator under Dan Quinn. So
Dan
they're
Quinn.
familiar with your defense. It's like if we play Madden 100 times, okay, Tuck's going to motion. He's about to throw to C Lamb. I've seen this play 1,000 times, right? But if I play Tyrone or someone else, they haven't seen it. It's new to them. But for you, it's like I know what he's doing. So, and Dan Quinn just never had the counterpunch. So when Wanye was saying, man, they were motioning a lot. Yeah, because he knows this defense gets tripped up by the motion. So sometimes there was double motion, there was ghost motion, there was jet mode. Like there was so many different motions because I know that's how I completely blow up your defense. And everybody was out of position, everybody was
Everybody,
out of
man.
sync, and you can just see the team just melting after that first drive. Where I sat back and just like, okay.
Yeah. You know what? I remember pulling out my phone and I was like, "When's the draft again?"
The worst part about the whole situation in Green Bay is that we got dog walked, and then I got snowed in for Dallas for 4 days. I was stuck and stranded after this.
Oh man,
I couldn't get back because Dallas gets 2 inches of snow and everything shuts down. So I'm like, bro, I just want to go home. Like it was bad, but it's just like what are we doing to build off of that? It's like nothing. And I think the biggest problem, Sid, is that the Cowboys won't commit. They won't commit to going all in and just going all in, push all your chips to the table and saying, F it. If we lose, then whatever. In 2026, we'll just be a horrible team. Or saying, you know what, Dak Prescott, you're not the guy. We can move on and do better without you, and just ripping off that Band-Aid and doing a full rebuild. We're kind of just being in the middle.
we're undecided.
Eight-win team, 10-win team. It just and it's just like, no, bro. You either have to swing this way or just rebuild it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, y'all don't want to re-sign Dak. Well, let's get rid of him by next week and go get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick and make things happen in the draft. But what they're going to do is they're going to sit back. They're going to play games till we get to camp. Dak turns off all negotiations when we get to camp, and we'll sit back and say, here we go. Dak's going to have his back to the wall like he always does. He's probably going to show out again, put up godly numbers, and the Cowboys think they're going to be able to win him back with negotiations next year. And he's going to be like, no, I'm a free agent, because some team like the Minnesota Vikings is going to be like, oh, we'll take you in a heartbeat. And so there we go.
I think, and it's a sad thing to say, but I think Dak would be more appreciated on another team.
He would. He honestly would. And that's the thing. Like a lot of Cowboys fans, we kind of started, like my guy Rome, It's just the free Dak movement because I feel like enough's enough, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's enough. Like, year after year, time after time, we were fighting battles for Dak. You know, we remember, right?
We remember, oh
Right.
my
Remember that game when we were live streaming and when his ankle got hurt versus the Giants?
Lord.
Like, that
Yep.
hurt. Like, that hurt. But it's like the front office plays games with them. The fan base sometimes plays games with them. It's just like, bro, it's a good guy. And to see it done to a good guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different. Like, man,
Yeah.
Dak's arrogant. He's a prick. Like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's
Walter
a
Graham,
nice,
like, he's done everything the right way in Dallas, and he always has to get drugged to the mud. And then you see someone like Jalen Hurts, when he came off a Super Bowl,
yep.
but it's like paid, or Josh Allen paid, Justin Herbert paid. Like, you see all these other quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson paid, and then had a situation paid again. Like, nothing, you know. But it's like when it comes to Dak, it's like, bro, he got to go through hoops. And what the problem is, the Cowboys won't admit the reason why we are in this situation with Dak Prescott. You franchise tagged him twice. You could have signed him before Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, and you could have possibly moved on like the Rams did, like the Eagles did. You drug this out. This is nobody's fault but
yours. Yeah.
So
let me, and I want to ask you after that. I remember that Green Bay game. I want to call you, and I was like, yo, I know no Dallas Cowboys fan don't want to talk about that game afterwards. But why do you think Dak and CeeDee Lamb were off?
I don't know. There was something, right, with the body language of CD and the connection. I don't know what the frustration was, and we never really got that answer. Why Mike McCarthy had to go down there and try to, calm CD down. Yep. I just think overall what it is, Sid, is that the lights get bright and the players just get out of character. Like, everyone gets out of character. And someone asked me this on Twitter today. It's like, think about it. When it's the big moments, our big stars just don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge problem. Like, we just never had that game where it's like, you know what? Maybe Dak is struggling. Okay, Dak is playing horrible. 2 interceptions, right? But Mike is going crazy. CeeDee Lamb is going crazy. Or Tony Pollard is going. Like, it's like, if Dak isn't playing well, everyone just, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I ended up saying. I said, once Green Bay started like dominating and the Dallas Cowboys got fluttered and it didn't know how to react to what was going on, it was like downhill. It's like everybody was like, nobody was in sync anymore,
right?
And they were on the sidelines and it was arguing and it was, the body language, and I was just like, we're falling apart.
They were rattled. And I think the craziest part about it is, and I was saying this other day, is like, even as bad as that game was, there was a moment, and maybe it was the Cowboy reader said, where I was like, is Dak about to pull this off and come back? Because he started, he started to shake it off, but the defense couldn't get a stop to say, like, bro, like, just hold him to a field goal at least, like
something.
But it's just like, bro, like, as soon as we started to heat up a little bit offensively, it was just like wide open touchdown, nobody around him, and it was just a bad game. But I feel like because of that game, the ended the way it was, the Cowboys organization, the fan base, everyone's just disoriented. Like, we just don't know. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's the biggest problem right now. Someone's trying to find someone to blame. I know some Cowboys fans are just blaming Dan Quinn, or it was Dan Quinn. You know what I'm saying? Like, he tanked the game on purpose. Now, Dan Quinn has had interviews every year since he's been in Dallas in the postseason. But all of a sudden, it was just like he was ready to go, but he came back and was at the Shrine Bowl. So it wasn't that. But we just need someone to be able to point at and say, it was your fault. We got rid of him. Now next year is going to be better. But I think that's the frustrating part for Cowboys fans, is we don't have the answer because we don't know what happened, versus they were just more prepared. We got out coached, out executed.
Oh, we did.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just hard. It's hard to accept that, but that's just what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And I remember I was talking. I said, guys, Dallas is going to sleep on Green Bay. Their momentum was, and they had nothing to lose. We had more to lose than they did.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So they went out there and they said, guys, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Also, I got nervous when I saw, Vegas. A lot of people were slamming big money on Green Bay. I was like, God, they know something. But at the end of the day, you got to lick your wounds and get back into the fight. And I feel like right now the Cowboys is just sitting in their corner, like, we're not going to fight. I'm not going to play. I'm not free agents. I'm not going to do nothing. because he
Yeah,
got punched in the mouth. And it's just like it's unfortunate because us diehard Cowboys fans who are in this chat and on social media and everywhere who give our blood, sweat, and tears to this, we're the ones who have to suffer. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to
yeah,
kind of go out there and we're gonna get some guy who's a old veteran from Detroit who was good back in 2019 and try to force him that he's going to be the defensive end disruptor that this Cowboys defense has been missing. When it's just like, I don't know. Salute to my guy Rome. What's going on with you, bro?
yeah. What's up, Mr. Rome, man? Big shout out to my guy. I'm gonna definitely get this guy on soon. I'm gonna try and get all three of us, man. Even
Yeah,
DMV.
let's
That'll be
rock.
a definitely interesting show, but please look out for that. So, with that being said, we'll jump on the Dak talk pick a little bit after, but draft. Well, I was watching you and DMV and Mr. Rome the other day, and we are talking about what's the most important draft position going into this season.
Mhm.
What
Yeah, yeah, good question, right? Because you
we're
look
all over
at
the place.
yeah, and that's the thing. We always say like BPA that makes sense, right? Just don't grab something. But if you think about it, right, besides you can say quarterback, maybe okay,
Yep.
pull their quarterback, right?
Whoa,
You know,
whoa. But do you think Dallas?
but that's the
I
thing. I,
don't
I
know.
don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's
I don't.
not like we're set in
Do you
stone at
think
quarterback.
Dallas is? Do you think there would be that dumb?
No,
But you
I
know
don't.
what? Nothing. Nothing
I
would
don't.
surprise me with Jerry Jones
I
still.
don't. I don't think they would because they've already did it with Trey Lance. So for in their
Yeah.
mind that they already drafted Trey Lance at a fourth round pick. Like that's like watch post draft after next week. They're gonna say, well, you factor in Trey Lance. That was part of our draft class. I'm like, no, because they did that with Brandon Cooks and also Stephon Gilmore. But there's a lot of holes, right? So you can go so many different directions. And that kind of goes back to the analogy of going to the grocery store hungry because you need a left tackle. Or you can kick Tyler Smith out, but then you need a left guard. Do you need an X boundary wide receiver to replace Michael Gallup? You need a running back. You need linebackers because your linebackers by committee is not going to work. And can you really lean on Damone Clark being your linebacker too? You need defensive tackles, right? Because you lost Jonathan Hankins, you moved on from Neville Gallimore, you have Osa,
Yep.
but Mozzie's going to be limited. You also need edge rushers, right? Because you need some edge guys because you lost Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong. So you need some edge rush. Or do you need a corner? Do you need a corner because you're going to move on from Stephon Gilmore? You need an outside guy because right now you have two inside guys in Deron Bland and Jay Lou, and then you have Trayvon Diggs coming off ace. So it's wide open.
And they're like, yeah.
It's wide open. So and that's what scares me because I feel like the Dallas Cowboys can just think too much in their war room and just trip themselves up. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, I'm team trade back with my dog Rome, but I'm also BPA. So if a wide receiver like a Brian Thomas Jr. or some of these guys
Mhm.
like Keon Comers are sitting there and they're the best players available, just get it. I want talent. We'll worry about the positioning later. Just go get me talent because I feel like this Cowboys need a shot in the arm, just talent wise. And I feel like the first 3 rounds said we can't be goofy. Last year's round 2, goofy. Year prior, round 2, like we kind of get goofy in the second round. No more goofiness, Will McClay. I need you locked in. First 3 picks, you have to hit. You go get supreme talent where we're all knowing day one they are the starters. But we'll have to wait and see next week and see how that all unfolds.
So for you, you're thinking best player available.
Yeah, best
I,
player
I,
available, man. I mean, the only position I'd probably say, even though I love him, is like tight end. I would probably be cool on that. But if it's Brock Bowers or somebody, like you get Brock. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
get
care.
Brock. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the talent. You get the talent. Because what you can do is you can reach for an inferior position while there's better talent on the board. So let's say, for instance, like some of the mocks have been saying, they went and got I think Tyler Guyton in their first round, right tackle from OU, has minimal left tackle experience, right? So he was the pick. But if you look at the board and the people that was drafted behind him, like a Graham Barton or a Brian Thomas Jr. or some of
Mhm.
those guys that can really have an impact, you're sitting there scratching your head like, nah, bro, I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. Trade back, get more value, get more picks. It gives you more cracks at the bat with it. And then you go get BPA and see how the board falls. There's going to be a lot of talent in this draft, especially in that cluster of day 2 and the later of the first round.
Makes sense. You're a big draft guy, and that's one thing I never
Yeah,
got
we
into.
came a long way from the pitch train, man.
Yeah. And like I said, me, I always wait till draft day, and then when I see who the Dallas Cowboys pick up, then I go and read up and I do a little research. I'm like, okay, or
Mhm.
So I'm definitely looking forward to the draft. It's just at a weird time. I'm working at 12, man. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
like since I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to wait to get some notifications on my phone to see what's going on.
right.
But I'm definitely looking forward to the draft. But like you said, I'm worried because we have too many positions to fill, and
Mhm.
it seems right now like the Dallas Cowboys are just we're reaching,
Right,
and that's what I don't want.
right.
And it's gonna be. I just don't want to have another tough man. I already get enough hate from you don't understand. Big shout out to my guy, Jack and all these guys that I do flag football with. But these guys are always hating on
It's
me,
hard.
and it's already they're like, you guys ain't doing nothing. Who you
Right,
guys released half your team? Who'd you sign? I'm just like,
right.
I know.
Imagine being a Cowboys fan in the middle of Chiefs Kingdom, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know for
it's
you,
just looking
man.
out the window and it's seeing everyone like that Squidward meme, like everyone's celebrating, confetti everywhere, flyers, and just like, congratulations again.
Yeah,
Again, a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl in 50 years just magically got the best quarterback in football history just fall in their lap, and everything is just changed with them. Where Super Bowls is like, I literally had friends last year. I'm like, bro, you going to the Super Bowl? Watch the Chiefs? Like, nah, man, I've been the last 3 years. Oh, okay, my bad. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Excuse me. You know what I'm
Me.
saying? Like, nah, man, I'm a pass, man. I've been the last 3 years. It's
So
oh, okay.
Matthew has an important statement here. Somebody going to draft Trey Benson in the first, and the Cowboys are going to get scared to draft Books at 24.
Yeah, man, I would be shocked if they took Brooks at 24, y'all. But I agree. For me to have this mentality, or for people to have this mentality that no running back is going to go in the first round, I just don't think that's the case. Remember last year we thought it was going to be Bijan, and we were like, oh, well,
Bijan. Yep.
we can get Gibbs in the second round. Absolutely not. So sometimes it's just like the grocery store. If you need bread and there's one loaf of bread on the, like, I'm just gonna go get the bread. Like,
Go
I'm
get
not
the
worried
bread.
about
Yeah.
the pricing. I'm not worried about the value, how much it costs. I need bread. There's not much left. I'm going to grab the bread. So I think that can be the situation. With the Cowboys go running back in round one, I would doubt it, y'all. I would
Doubt
be
it.
shocked.
Doubt it.
That would be a rib punch where I just exit the
You
live
know,
stream and we're just out of here. But I can
I just
see
think
them possibly getting Brooks at 56 versus 24.
24. I just think running backs are no longer that position anymore that he used to be.
And that's the thing. It's like, I know a lot of Cowboys fans, self included, want to improve the running back room, but we don't run the damn ball anyway.
Oh,
You know what
anyway,
I'm saying? Like, that's
that's
the thing. We
actually
don't run the ball anyways. And so, Dak Prescott probably on a 1 year deal. They're gonna want him slinging the ball till his arm comes out his shoulder. So yeah, it's like, man, we try run the ball with Zeke or run the ball with Pollard, or I have videos on my channel, use Rico more, use Hunter Lukey, and Mike McCarthy's like, absolutely not. So like, how much value are you really going to get from a running back? I don't know, but I think it's a need, but I don't think they're going to press on it, to be honest with you.
so. Let me speaking about running back. There's chirps and people are talking about Zeke actually maybe coming back to the Cowboys. Why are you moving your mic?
Need Zeke,
Listen,
man.
and I just don't know how I feel about that. Like sometimes I'm like, you know what? He'll go get us that first down when we got to run 2-3 yards. He'll punch it in, get that end zone touchdown that we need if it's on the 1 yard. But definitely not in the one. Everybody's like, oh, he's gonna be your number one running back. No way, that's not happening. But I don't know. I'm torn because you were a big Zeke guy, you know.
Mhm.
You've always backed him up. I remember back in the day.
Not
And
always.
well,
Not on drafted. Not when we drafted him, I
oh
wasn't.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got the
So
scar still on my wrist for you punching the glass window when we drafted Zeke, man.
so how do you feel about that rumor lingering? And do you actually think it's something that's gonna happen?
It's a possibility. I know a lot of Cowboys fans would be opposed to it. I would be perfectly fine. I'd be perfectly
Yeah,
fine because I feel like he's a
me too.
boost. He's also a veteran leader. And here's what a lot of Cowboys fans don't consider: depth. You know what I'm saying? They don't consider depth. It's like, okay, we don't need Zeke because we got Rico. Okay, cool. What happens if Rico goes down? Then what?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you have to plan
We
for that.
need
You have to plan for hamstrings in camp. You have to plan for those types of things. So if you have Ezekiel Elliott, I know one, he's going to be perfectly fine in pass pro. You're going to be good there. Short yardage back, we're going to be good there. Red zone rushing in the goal line, we're going to be good there. Just give me that. You know what I'm saying?
the
Because
blocker. He's a good blocker for Dak.
good pass pro blocker. So it's like we get
Yep.
those things from him. I can guarantee I can close my eyes. And if it's 4th and 2 on the goal line, I know I can give Zeke the ball and he's not going to get stopped by Tony Pollard. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those
Yep.
are some of the things, like if you get it, I'm not opposed to it because we don't have it. Now, if I felt like, okay, we had a young bruiser back and he has the same, I mean, hell, he might, so good question, Stevie Mac, or good comment, right? You
Yep.
definitely need to add someone like Zeke back there because we ain't got no left tackle. So you have Chuma Yadoga back there, and then you have Deuce Vaughn trying to pick up in pass pro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, you know what I'm saying, unless you're just trying to
No.
set Dak Prescott up for failure. So yeah, if Zeke says, you know what, I want to come home, let me finish with my guy Dak. I mean, he has his home in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would welcome Zeke back with open arms. Cowboys fans would complain about it for a little bit, but they will get over it
Mhm.
as soon as we're all saying Zeke and he gets in the end zone, because those 13 touchdowns in the end zone was
Zone
definitely missed
was
last year. So
no. That's what I'm saying. He'll be your get you that first down that you need, and he'll be that end zone in that red zone end zone puncher that we need because we didn't
yeah.
have that last year.
And
But
listen, y'all, we tried to tush push. It don't work for us. You know what I'm saying? So like, so like sometimes you just need someone to get those dirty, grimy yards. You know what I'm saying? And if that's all Zeke is, it's just that bell cow back to get those dirty, grimy yards,
why
pass
not?
pro, and get in the end zone, those 2-yard carries in the end zone. I'll take it. That's a good value for it. But we'll have to sit back and wait and see how the draft unfolds. But yeah, I would welcome Zeke back with open arms. So I would definitely keep that rumor in the back of your minds because I'm hearing it's really,
That he,
uh,
yeah,
it's really picking up.
it's really possible that
Yeah, it's a huge
he's gonna.
possibility.
Why not? And he'll retire from Dallas. I think that'll be his.
And so Tyreek said he's a huge momentum stopper for the young guys, but that's the problem. We don't have no young guys. You know what I'm
We
saying?
don't.
Like,
Yeah, we
yeah,
don't.
yeah. It'd be different. Let's say, for instance, we had a Trey Benson, right? We drafted Trey Benson, but all of a sudden, like Zeke is starting over Trey Benson and taking carries away from Trey Benson. Yeah, then I agree, bro. But if Zeke is taking away carries from Deuce Vaughn, I mean, and I like
Yeah,
Deuce, and I feel like Deuce is going to take a leap forward, but there's still a lot to work. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no guys behind him that I feel like Zeke could be stopping, whether that's Rico, whether that's Malik Davis, whether that's Deuce, whether that's Snoop. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Tyreek said, "Where was Zeke when you needed him in the playoff game?" No, where was Dallas last
Really?
year against Green Bay in the playoff game? Like,
Right.
honestly,
Yeah.
like you can't just attack one player right now.
Yeah.
So
I mean
I
that.
I
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. And we do that all the time. Where was so like where was
Yeah,
the team? Where was
yeah.
Michael Gallup? Where was Jake Ferguson in the loss versus San Francisco? Where was our offensive line that couldn't protect Dak up front? Where was, like, we could play that game all day, so you can't cherry
Yep.
pick, because it's unfair. It's a team game. It's not like it's basketball, right? You can say, where was LeBron tonight? LeBron didn't show up and do his thing. But like, bro, like sometimes your right tackle just didn't show up. Like Terrence Steele, he didn't show up versus
Nope.
the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? He was
Eagles.
getting smoked out there. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like it takes a unit. I think a lot of people just don't understand that it's not just one person. Like that's just the easy way to place the blame. But it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It is.
yeah.
It really is.
And honestly,
So
when Tony Pollard went down versus San Francisco, we didn't run the ball and give Zeke any touches with Kellen Moore anyway. So I mean, if you want to ask somebody where was Zeke, ask Kellen Moore because he didn't give him the ball.
he ain't giving them the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm with you. I wouldn't be mad. I was thinking about it more, and I'm like, I wouldn't be mad at that idea. He was always that go-to when we needed those yards. So why not? So I'm definitely. I
Overall.
still have his jersey,
Yeah.
so at least I could brush it off.
Yeah, and 21 is probably gonna be available because Gilmore ain't coming back. So
Exactly. So Zeke
yeah.
will definitely get that number back. So one last thing before we usually wrap it up in an hour, but I have an important question. Well, two.
All right.
So let's talk about Mike McCarthy. Do you think Mike McCarthy, let's say Mike McCarthy doesn't have a great year this year. Do you think Mike McCarthy will be back next
Said he
year?
doesn't have a great year this year.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think he's back. I feel like they've been plotting on Mike McCarthy from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So,
I thought
which,
he'd be gone already.
which is which is unfortunate, right? Because we sit back, we watch a Jason Garrett give us nothing but mediocrity for over a
Yep.
decade, and didn't even consider moving on, right? Mike McCarthy came in his very first year. Dak goes down, tries to keep things afloat with Ben DiNucci and Andy
Yeah.
Dalton, Eric Gilbert, right? Decent season, but it is what it is. After that, right, you have Dak Prescott plays well. You had seasons where Dak Prescott went down. He still won games with Cooper Rush. They 12-5, 12-5, winning the division twice, going on the road and beating Tom Brady in the playoffs. So he's been building, and I feel like we should let him continue to build. But knowing the Cowboys' ego, I can see a situation, let's say, for instance, Sid is right and we miss the playoffs, that they're going to move on from Mike McCarthy. What scares me with that Cowboys Nation is it's not that we're going to move from Mike McCarthy and go get Bill Belichick, like, and say, you
No.
know what, Bill Belichick, go fix it. It'll probably be something like, well, hey, Coach Zimmer was a former head coach for the Bengals, and he
But
also coached in Minnesota, and he's the leader of this defense, and we can just make him that. Like, it's going to be somebody they have their puppet strings attached to. And when Zimmer had his first press conference, I was all for it till he said this, Sid. My good friend Stephen Jones gave me a phone call. I said, "Oh,
oh
here we
shit.
go." Like, okay. Like, all right, here we go, bro. I was like, here
Yeah.
we go, man. So that's my biggest concern about moving on from Mike McCarthy is would the Cowboys actually have the courage to go get a real coach that can really get us over the hump, or will just be another guy that they like and they can kind of bring us in and kind of mold things and do things his way, and we continuously cycle that we've been on. So me personally, I would have signed Mike McCarthy back last year and gave him an extension, but everybody's on a 1-year deal, which typically doesn't work out in a lot of situations.
I'll be honest with you. I thought he was gonna be gone this year. I said, oh, there, Mike McCarthy's done. I honestly was hoping that we would have moved away from him because there was other potential better coaches out there that we could have got,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't make that move again.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, so we're gonna deal with Mike McCarthy. Here's my dilemma. Do you think, depending on how the Dallas come out in the season, I'm wondering will Mike McCarthy make it through the whole season
It would have to get dark for
really
that to
fast?
happen. But typically I think the Cowboys would let him finish the season, right? Unless there's a guy that they really like in house and they want to kind of gauge him out before
Mhm.
the off season. But I think that Mike McCarthy finished the season unless we're out there just getting smoked out the gate. But if we're getting smoked out the gate, is it really Mike McCarthy's fault because
McCarthy's
y'all went
fault,
out there and y'all gave him no utensils to cook with? You know what I'm saying? So that's why
but
me,
let's
if I'm Mike McCarthy, bro, I'm like, I'm trying to go all in with the spending. I'm trying to, I'm trying to ball on the, ball out, because if y'all trying to fire me, give me everything that I need to go out my way. But of course, they're not going to do that. So, I think he finishes the season unless it gets bad. Like we get off 0-5 start or something like that. You know, the team that can really break us, right, and really change us is the team in Philadelphia. And I feel like that's the biggest problem for the Cowboys and also the front office, right? Because we see
Mhm.
Philadelphia making all these power moves, but they have yet to leave blood in their mouth. So for the Cowboys standpoint, it's like, oh, we don't have, and Stephen Jones kind of said it. It's like, you see what they're doing in our divisions. Like, they don't feel like, okay, we need to make these moves because Philadelphia hasn't left blood in our mouth because we feel like we can still compete with them. But I'm not trying to compete with Philadelphia. I'm trying to compete
No.
with the San Francisco. Now, the San Francisco 49ers, they left tons of
49ers,
blood in our mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying? They leave. I'm like, I'm done messing with that. I hate that they're on a schedule again next year. Like, listen, bro, after this year, like, you got it, bro. Like, I'm good. I don't want no more. I was talking big and bad online. All right, y'all got it, man. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. That's the
well,
team I'm trying.
man, my cousin's a huge 49ers fan, and I was all, and my other boy Brent, I was all up in their ear. I bet money. We got this. There's no way we're, and man,
And
I'm like, man,
they
what?
talk about this. It's like,
There are kryptonite.
yeah. Mhm.
There are Dallas Cowboys kryptonite. It used to be the Eagles, not anymore. The
Nah.
49ers. I don't know
Mm.
what it is. We just cannot function against this team.
Yeah,
Hats
man.
off to them, man. Hats up. Listen.
Yeah, it's just,
Kudos, but it's
yeah.
just a team that I hate them just as much as I hate the Eagles now.
Yeah, some fights you're just not built for, man. As of right now, I just don't see us built for San Fran. We damn sure not built to fight. Right now, I
We're
don't
not.
know if we built to fight Washington. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, San Francisco. I feel like Detroit. We got Detroit next year. We got the Baltimore Ravens. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got
Do
the
you think we won
Cincinnati
that game
Bengals.
against Detroit? Fairly,
Mm,
fairly,
yeah. Do we?
fairly,
Fairly no. But
but it
but
was still a W.
that's the problem, right? Think about what happened. we Dallas did their job offensively, and
Yep,
all they had to do, defense had to do, was just keep them out from making a full drive up the field to not score a touchdown,
exactly.
and we let
Yep,
them march all the way.
all
That's what I'm
the way
saying. Our
down.
our defense last year was fool's gold. I know a lot of people saw the sacks, we saw the interceptions. We're like, okay, we're perfectly fine, but we're not as good as y'all think we are. You know what I'm saying? We saw what happened versus Buffalo. I mean, the Dolphins game was a little bit improved, but every time we played a quarterback that had some
Um,
moxie about him or that was competent, we wasn't, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't that caliber of team. So, we're going to have to get over that hurdle. But I feel like the good thing about our schedule is that we will know who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we won't be able to fake it. I feel like last year we kind of got to fake it, right? Because we would lose to the 49ers, but then we would turn around and beat Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So we feel like we're kind of back and lose to Buffalo, but we beat Philly. So there was like this mixed emotions. But this year, we'll know out the gate pretty much who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
we'll just know, and it's like, all right, y'all, either let's just start a book club and move on to draft stuff in the middle of the season, or you know what? Maybe we was wrong, and this team's actually a serious contenders, but we'll know.
We'll see. Yo, big shout out to my man Mike. Man, Mike. So this is my boy. He says, "F the Niners prevent my Lions from going to the big one."
Yeah, man.
So do
But here's
Mike.
the
He just
crazy
told
part. We've all tried to fight the 49ers. Like, even like, how much as we hate the Eagles, I was hoping
everybody.
the Eagles would beat them. They lumped the
Yep.
Eagles up too, bro. Like, they were bro. You know, like
Yo, they spanked the Eagles.
they smacked the Eagles, and then Nick Bosa goes on, post game and gives the blueprint of how to beat the Eagles, and everyone starts stomping on the Eagles. It's like, damn, bro, like
Exactly.
the 49ers just been, like we gotta like team up and do the fusion dance to beat them, bro. Because I don't know what the hell is. You know what
Yo,
I'm saying?
they got the Eagles had such a rough season. I haven't seen Philly lotion anywhere, man.
Man,
big,
they
big
are.
shout
I
out to
mean,
Philly Notion,
it's
man. I
my
spoke to
guy
this
Philly
guy.
Motion, man.
He's making his comeback soon, man. I spoke to him.
Oh
He,
man,
yeah, yeah. So he said
oh
he had
yeah.
a rough year.
I
He's
bet
still
he
talking.
did. I
Yeah,
bet
yeah.
he
He was
did.
talking trash every so often to me, and I was just like, "Yo, you should be talking, bro.
Yeah,
Your team went like this, and then all of a sudden crash and burn
yeah.
dramatically."
They was
You know?
hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
hot, man.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. So, last thing I wanted to discuss is Dak's contract. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It is this something that's going to get done? Is front office going to keep playing around with it? And the biggest question I have: will Dak be back, be a Cowboy in 2025?
Man, it's a magical question. I wish I had the
That
answer to it. If I had
everybody's telling me.
if I had to put money on it, I would say no.
Yeah,
I would say
that's
no.
what I've been telling you. I don't.
I just feel like, okay, so here we are, because I felt like they're gonna try to get the deal done, but Dak has all the leverage in negotiations. And I just don't think that Dak is going to come down off his price to meet the Joneses at where they really want to be met at. And rightfully so, right? Because you slander him, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't feel appreciated for the work that you've done. And so Dak is not going to come down off his price because he really was, if we're being honest, besides the win column, this the MVP of the regular season, right? So
Thank
why
you.
would you come down on your price? Plus, you look across, you see what Kirk Cousins is getting, you see what other quarterbacks are getting that you're clearly better than, have always been better than. I don't believe he's going to come down on his price. And that's where things are going to get ugly. And like I said, if he's not signed by the time we get to camp, Dak typically turns off negotiations and says, okay, I'm done with it. We'll revisit in the offseason, which scares me because I know if it gets to the offseason next year, bro, I know people are gonna toss big money at Dak and he's gonna be gone. So no, I don't think it's gonna happen. To be honest with you, I would love for me to be wrong. I would love to do a show. I'm like, okay, we signed Dak. That will give me some peace. Okay, like let's see if we got our quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Then CeeDee Lamb taken care of. Okay, I'll feel a little bit better. But as of right now, I don't feel good about the situation. To be honest with y'all.
It's They're doing him dirty again, man. That's what I don't understand. This
Mhm.
guy, you know, he was a face of the Dallas Cowboys. He did so much for the community. He was a good QB. He was one of the top. He was in the top 5 for most yards last year. I think he had the most passing touchdowns. If I
Mhm.
remember clearly. I mean, this guy was out there doing what he needed to be done. Why are we constantly playing with this guy's contract?
Yeah,
I,
it's always a thing of making Dak bet on himself. Do it again. Okay, we got us that time. We'll do it again. Double or nothing. Do it again. Do it again. So it's like it's one of those situations where, it's just enough is enough. And I think for Dak personally, of course, Dak is always going to hold himself like a leader. You know what I'm saying? But
yep.
I
Yes.
feel like the Trey Lance thing was disrespectful for him because it wasn't about getting a backup quarterback or our third string quarterback. We were perfectly fine with Will Greer being our third string quarterback, especially after he played our last preseason game. So you moved on from Will Greer. You trade a 4th-round pick without talking to anybody to get Trey Lance, who doesn't even play a snap last year. What was it really about? It's really about letting you know if I don't come down, they're going to move on from me and put this kid in. And I just think
But
it's a
that's
slap in the
it.
face. And they spit in the wind at Dak, and it came back in their face because Dak played his best season in his career, and now it's like, all right. So it's like it's this
I'm
huge contest. And here's what I'm trying to explain to Cowboys fans: we're dealing with the same ownership that had the ego to feel like they can win Super Bowls and continuously build championship teams without Jimmy Johnson. They're moving on from Dak Prescott is easy money. Like they don't, what I'm saying? Like they don't,
yeah.
I'm saying? Like their ego, like they are so focused on doing things their way and being right versus putting the best product on the football field and put us in the best situation to win championships. So ultimately, we'll have to sit back and wait and see. I hope I'm wrong, but ultimately, if that happens, the Cowboys fans will pay the price as usual.
Of course. You know what? When they brought in Lance, I was like, there's two things that are happening here. One, they're sending a message to Dak and they're saying, "Hey, Dak, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? We have this kid that we believe in. If you don't want to come down, like you said, in price, we're gonna switch our focus to this kid."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Second reason, I said, or he's trade bait.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was like, he's gonna be trade bait come draft time.
Well, they
You know,
didn't even
that's
pay him. They didn't do anything. They even give him
no,
some
that's
bait. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just he can't be bait. But
I know that's why, but that's what I thought back
mm-hmm.
then when we brought him in, right?
Yeah, I
And
thought
it
it
was,
was replacing Cooper Rush. Like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we're good.
yeah, I was okay with that.
Yeah.
And then another thing I said to myself was, if Dak for some odd reason doesn't play the way that they need him to be playing, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Then they're just gonna say, "Hey, Dak, take a little benchy bench, and we're gonna take our chances right now with Lance and
Yeah.
see what's gonna happen." Right?
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. Like you said, Dak went out, he balled out.
Yep.
He had one of his best seasons
Mm-hmm.
throughout his whole career. And like you're saying right now, he's saying, "Hey, I know my value, and you guys
Right.
are not gonna stop me from getting what I want."
And rightfully so. And any one of us on this show or watching this show would do the exact same. If you're at work and you're a top salesperson, you want the same raise as everyone else. You're not going to take less of a raise because the
Nope.
bottom person who's number 10, like, so that's the thing. And here is what I really worry about. And it's coming, Cowboys Nation, whether we want to or not. When we get to camp and it's, oh, well, Trey Lance had a good day of practice. He was 7 for 7 and
Oh
7
man, yeah.
drills, and his arm is looking strong. And it looks like the ankle is healing. He showed some athletic ability on an outside throw when he rushed outside the pocket and tossed to CeeDee Lamb. And then they're going to make sure everything is lined up properly for preseason to get the Cowboys fans talking. Well, maybe if Jerry and Stephen Jones was selling Cowboys fans the idea of Cooper Rush, right? Imagine what they're about to do to Trey Lance, man. Watch the Ringling Brothers circus that's about to hit us fans, but it just is what it is. We got to deal with it.
You know what? I applaud Dak on that because I remember seeing an interview with him, and he was just like, "Business is business, man.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yeah,
you want me to say? You know,
yeah,
this is the business that we're in,
yeah.
and unfortunately, you know what? I'm gonna help him." You know, and I remember him saying, "I'm gonna help him out.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good kid. I have
Yeah,
nothing against him."
yeah,
Just like any good person would do, and
yeah.
that just goes to show you his mentality.
Yeah, he said, "I'm not surprised by anything they do anymore." That was literally his words, right? But Dak is, and here's Dak is such a strong leader. his dumb butt is out there at voluntary practice right now on a 1-year deal. Like, bro, what are you
Exactly.
doing?
Did you see? Did you see? He looks good. His arms are
Yeah.
jacked. His
Like,
legs are. I'm like,
and so there's
okay.
a part of me, as much as I love Dak, I'm like, well, you're a fool from letting them play you like that every year because they know you're going to show up. Like, bro, you're literally at voluntary. Like, Micah Parsons isn't even at voluntary. Like, who goes to voluntary camp? And you're on a 1-year
CD Lamb
deal
ain't there.
out there running line drills with everybody else. And all it's going to take is for one little injury to be like, oh, well, see, well,
Yeah.
and so
CD Lamb's holding out.
yeah, CeeDee Lamb doing it. Zach Martin did it perfectly fine. Zeke went to Cabo. Micah Parsons playing on to do it next year. So if you want your money, you can't play along with them and go the nice route. You might just have to sit at home a little bit. You got your own football yards, your own house, bro. You don't need to be out there at voluntary.
You don't need. Yeah.
yeah.
He should
You
be.
can literally call CD like, listen, bro, don't go to voluntary camp. We're just gonna practice at my crib. You and Mike can meet me. You and Mike can meet me in the backyard here in a little bit. So, you know.
Can't be easy having to deal with their owner. Always interfering, like adding ketchup to my mom's cooking. Never ends well,
Bro.
Never ends well. Yeah, man. So with that being said, your last question before we end this show. Seeing Dallas Cowboys lineup. I know it's early.
Mm-hmm.
I always do this to you, and I know you're gonna be like, man, don't ask me that now, man. I know what you're gonna ask me, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. Going into the season right now, before the draft, what do you think our record is going to be? And we're going to go back and watch this at the end of the season to see how off we are.
All right. Well, I'll say this. So right now in Las Vegas, the over and under for Dallas Cowboys wins is 10.5 wins. So pretty much 11 to win money. Mm-hmm. And listen, Cowboys Nation, I know we love our team, but I love my money even more. So I would say probably 10 wins. I would take the under. I've taken the under. And you can parlay that with the Eagles winning the division too, because right now the Cowboys are the favorites. But listen, man, you're saying
we don't know.
It's nothing personal. It's just business, right? Well, here's the simple bet, right? Even if it's not the Cowboys, I mean, the Cowboys were handed the division last year. When's the last time there's been a back-to-back NFC East champion? It's been years.
So
you automatically, so since the Cowboys are the favorite, you pretty much can scratch that off the ticket. And the Eagles, while they're still the underdogs, and I would take the under and parlay together and enjoy your Christmas. So that's what I'll say for right now. But we'll see how the schedule outlines. We'll see what they do in the draft and free agency. But I'm taking the under on the 10.5 easily. Not tooken. I've already taken it. So you know, is what it is.
I'm at 12-4. What are you talking about, Mike? I'm at 9. I'm at 9-8.
There you go.
Looking at the lineup right now, looking at our roster and where we're at, and like I said, this might change come after draft and training camp and all that. And so we're definitely going to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Jay, man, I know you have guys. Go on, check this guy out. He has a big draft day coming up. I know you guys, you got a whole bunch of you, aren't you? Let them know.
Yeah, man. So I've been doing a draft show on CFO Sports, man, CFO Draft Show, man. It's going to be a lot of different guests popping in and out, man. A lot of y'all favorites. Jumping in and out, just breaking down the draft, man. So we'll be live day 1 and day 2 of the draft. And just doing what we do best, man. And hopefully, our Dallas Cowboys will pull things out and, and cheer us up a little bit. But we shall see, man. But it's going to be a fun day. Draft day is one of my favorite days. So we live stream. I might live stream for a lot on Thursday and then also Friday. For sure. So yeah, but until then, man, we got draft shows coming up, got some film breakdown. I mean, I'm pretty much broken down everybody needs to be breaking down since we no one else really talk about unless some day 3 guys. But yeah, man, draft's always fun. Come over there for the content at CFO Sports listed below, man. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, man, I appreciate having you on, man. Guys, please subscribe to this guy's channel if you haven't already.
And likewise, subscribe to his channel, man. Get my boy Sid back in the game, man. So
well, I'll get there, man. I know what work needs to go in, but I appreciate you definitely coming on. I hope the Dallas Cowboys have a great season. I'm back. We're definitely going to do some post shows, pre-shows, all that stuff. You know how it is when we lose, we get together the next day. We're like, what happened?
Yeah, I haven't gone back and watched that Green Bay game at all. So it's like
me neither.
All a blur,
me neither.
I used the Men in Black light, like just erased my mind. So like, it never happened, bro. What are you saying? Like we ain't losing no Packers, bro.
I don't know about you, but when we lost, I turned off my phone.
Well, it was the craziest feeling, man, because I went live as I was walking out because I was like the one of the last people to walk out the building. I just sat there until security was like, "All right, man, you got to go."
Oh
And so
man.
I'm sitting there and I'm coming out. I'm not sure if you saw it, Sip, and I'm like raging on my phone, like going like live. But then all of a sudden, a guy taps me, and it's like Mark Cuban. So it's
Oh,
like, so like it's crazy. Going, it's Mark Cuban. So I'm sitting there. So I turned the live stream off. I talked to Mark Cuban for a minute, and then it was like one of those things where I'm pissed off, I'm frustrated. Then we had tears in my eyes, but then it's like, oh, you meet someone you watched and
yeah,
read
yeah.
books, Mark Cuban. So it's
Wow.
different. You know what I'm saying? So it's a crazy experience. Then it started to snow. You know what I'm saying? So it's just yeah, man. But Green Bay game wasn't good. I remember just going to the bar at halftime and just like not wanting to go back out there. Like, bro, I'm done with this fight. I just want to just kind of just sit here for a minute. You know, yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
won't.
you
I
want to
won't.
make it a double? Like, man, make it a triple. I don't know. Hit me over the head with the bottle. Like, I don't know, bro. Just stop
take
this. Like,
take me out my misery, please.
yeah, it's just like
Tell me I'm dreaming.
it was so you never been like in a place where like you're drinking and like you can't even just get drunk. Not even getting drunk anymore. The drink's not even working, bro. You're just miserable. Like, just get me up out of here, man. So and I'm sitting there
Yeah,
getting trolled by a bunch of people with cheese blocks on their heads, man. It's just like, bro, like this is pitiful.
yeah.
It's
People
pitiful.
still people still definitely talk to me about it, and I'm just like, I don't
Yeah,
want to talk. I don't want to talk about it, guys.
yeah,
Let's move forward, man. Then
exactly.
that's it. That's what we're looking at, man. So I want to do a big shout out to BuzzFit Jim, man. Huge supporters of my channel. So big shout out to BuzzFit, my guy. I got a few guys that are huge supporters, Jack, Conrad, and my guy CJ. Big thank you to those guys, and thank you for coming on the show, Jay. Man, definitely subscribe to this guys. Tell them where to find you, Jay Tuck. Man.
Yeah, man, you can follow me on all social media platforms at jtuck151. And then once again, my YouTube channel is CFO Sports. Come over there, give us a like, give us a holler. We're doing videos of Cowboys, a lot of draft content. You can also follow me on ESPN Radio here in Kansas City with my guy Darren Smith every
Oh
Saturday
yeah,
morning. And then yeah, man, we're just working, man, staying busy, staying on the grind, man. But after the draft said, I'm going on vacation, I'm going to the beach, I'm getting me a drink. You know what I'm saying? Like I need a break. You know what I'm saying? I need a real break, man. So
bro. I just started, and I'm already taking a break after the draft. May
yeah,
12th, your boy Sid's gonna be in Thailand.
yeah. Oh
Going to
yeah, man.
Thailand,
Thailand's amazing,
going
man.
to Thailand for 3 weeks.
Spending
That's gonna
baht,
be
man,
huge.
over
Yeah,
Phuket,
yeah.
man.
But
Over
I'll be streaming from there. I'm bringing my gear, man. I already have a
yeah,
bag. I'm
yeah, man.
definitely gonna go live from Thailand on the beach somewhere. So definitely be on
No
the lookout
time,
for
man.
that. So deaf guys, check me out. My Twitter is your boy Sid. My YouTube channel is Dallas Cowboys, the number 4 life. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Big things coming, man. Jay, I appreciate you reaching out and being the first one on my show again when I'm
Facts.
making my comeback. I appreciate you so much. So, guys, like I said, be sure to tune in. Stay safe. This is Montreal, Canada's own. It's your boy Sid. Thanks for joining. Speak your mind all the time.
Peace.
Peace.